Alright everybody, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. Today we rescued the last maiden, which so happens to be Zelda. So yeah.
And why am I holding this GameCube controller? Okay, back to Link to the Past. Sorry.
Doing your master quest in the background.
I was in this instinct like I had to get back to Master Quest. Oh wait, I kinda have to. Otherwise we won't get to an Ocarina of Time playthrough for quite some time.
Crap, oh yeah, that's right. We're going to find a secret fairy. That's right. I did not see this fairy on my first playthrough, actually.
It took me a while to figure this out, but you need to know this because you get the silver arrows from doing this, and you needed to kill the final boss.
As per usual.
Actually, wait a second. Oh, that's right. Of course I had to notice on my first playthrough. No,
it's just,
I'm thinking of the level 4 sword. That's right. I didn't know you could upgrade the level 4 sword to the level 4 sword. I mean, but yeah. But remember where Link's house was in the Light World? Well, that is the location of a bomb shop. It doesn't play any significant importance at all. Although this one, where you can buy super bombs for 100 rupees.
And you need to get a super bomb to get to this fairy, and you need to get to the fairy just to get the silver arrows to beat the final boss and win the game. So yeah, you gotta need to do this. Thing is, you can't dash and you can't jump off a ledge with this bomb, otherwise it'll start to explode. You have a very, very small amount of time to get the bomb back before it explodes, otherwise you just wasted 100 rupees.
So basically it acts like the treasure chest that we escorted before, except it explodes.
Yeah, so essentially it's the same thing, except it's timed. So don't let it out of your sight.
Yeah, you cannot dash, you cannot jump off of cliffs, and most importantly, you just can't place the A button in general. Because once you press the A button, you set it off.
So don't do that until you actually get to the crack in the wall in the pyramid.
I'm pretty sure you can't go into houses either. It'll just wait outside for you.
What's funny though is that in the GBA version, it has a different animation for when you're setting.
It gets bigger and smaller once you've purchased it. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
In this version, it doesn't.
And also, don't stop. Go straight to jail. Don't stop and go. Don't collect $200.
That's not Monopoly.
Sadly, this is the only thing you really need the super bomb for. I'm kind of disappointed.
It's not really that much better than that regular bomb, actually, because it just has a wider radius, but does just about the same damage as a normal bomb.
And then
so I never use it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we won't see another alternate kind of bomb or bomb upgrade until Twilight Princess, I think.
Oh yeah,
there's bomb upgrades.
Oh, that is true.
Oh, are you talking about just new bombs in general?
We got bomb chews.
Yeah, we get bomb chews, but...
Oh yeah, this is from me figuring out about the magic potions from you guys. Thank you.
Oh, whoa.
Hooray! My information came in handy! There you go.
I don't want to know where that medicine of magic came from, though.
Lester, mind out of the gutter.
It wasn't in the gutter, it was more like in the throat.
Yeah, I believe you're right, Marley. Yeah, you do get different bombs in Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
The water bombs and another bomb which...
I just finished Let's Playing the game, so I should know. You get the water bombs, standard bombs, and you get the bomb chew equivalents of bomb lanes, which are
There's
pretty much
super
useless.
bombs in Four Swords Adventures.
Oh, there are? There are?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, cool.
It's an upgrade. You take these bombs from one of these fairies, and it's an upgrade.
That's pretty cool.
And they
And then,
changed the bombs.
that's something I really like about Four Swords Adventures. It's that you can literally upgrade every single one of your items that you can get to a level 2 version, except for the lantern.
Although some of them are kind of useless with their level 2 upgrades, and it just feels like you waste your time.
Some of them are nice homages, which is pretty good.
Like the super bombs, it can be kind of useful, but you're kind of killing your teammates at the same time. Hey, nice homage to Link to the Past.
It's a nice... It's why I like the remote bomb so much in,
Can't stop swinging your stick and move on.
I love the sound the level 3 Sword and Beyond makes. You happy?
Stop showing off, let's go.
And one additional feature that the level 4 sword has is that I believe you can play pots with it.
Yep.
Only
you
the
essentially
GBA
you essentially gain the rock break
Oh,
skill
only in the
from having
GBA
it.
version? Okay, I was wondering
Yeah.
why you couldn't break the skulls. Okay.
I
only in
think.
the-
No,
GBA.
think of it. Why couldn't they do that with the level 3 sword?
Well, I think
Huh.
it's okay. It might just be me, but it
Good
may be
placement.
like a also
wow.
suddenly soldier. It might be a bit of a reference to Minish Cap because in Minish Cap you do get a sword scroll for the rock break skill.
Yeah.
You can break pots and the Oracle games too if you get the level 2 version of them.
I
Okay.
think that's where it originated from because it wasn't in this version of Link to the Past, but then they put it in the GBA port. So I think the
Or
Oracle
you can
games
just
might
go-
start first.
Or you can just go on a hunt and say, Ocarina of Time did it? Well, no, because every sword did it, but...
Oh,
yeah.
that one that was 3D, and two, I think the Oracle games came before Ocarina of Time.
No, the Oracle games came out in 2001.
Oh, they did? Oh wow, I thought
Yeah.
it was earlier than that.
It came out around the time the GBA was available.
Oh yeah, it was one of the last.
That's probably
And
why.
I noticed mostly because there was an advanced shop that you can get into if you played it on the Game Boy Advance.
That's right, because those had GBA content just as Link's Awakening DX had.
And
That's right,
the
'cause
performance,
that
by the way,
makes sense.
is not the performance.
So yeah.
Dark World.
I'm not sure if we've mentioned it yet, but is it the level 2 sword onwards can cut through signs?
I don't think you can cut their signs at all in this version. I think that's once again only GBA, and I think
Okay.
it's to level 4. You have to get to level 4 to do it.
Jesus Christ, the
It,
GBA version
It only
is
has
sort
to
of
be. I could have sworn that the Master Sword could do it. That's it.
I don't know. I have to go back and check, but I don't think you
My
can.
lord,
'cause
the
I,
GBA version just overpowers the Super Nintendo version when you think about the crack loads of differences they have.
well, for playing sake, it's like the better two, yeah. But for making a Let's Play, it's probably still better for Super Nintendo, just because of that screen resolution thing.
Except I'm
yeah.
stubborn.
And you gotta go to the Dark World for that. So, yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind if you play on the Game Boy Player or something and kept it in its native resolution. And after that, it gets kind of washed out.
Also, you need to pound these things in a certain order.
Now you know that order the first time you play is beyond me.
It just
Magic
sort
of
of happened.
trial and error. Oh, and fun
now-
fact.
It just sort of happened.
And
no,
now-
I did not do any
Actually.
And guess what? I didn't do any editing for that either. That just sort of happened.
Yeah, it does. But fun fact here, if you actually pull on the hands of that turtle, you get rupees.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Thank you,
More you
Gibson.
know.
That's kind of cool.
Thank you, Gibson. I wouldn't have known if I didn't watch that Let's Play.
Yeah, this is when I was trying to test out whether the sword could break pots, skulls or whatnot.
Yeah,
They
it's
still-
only limited to pots in.
And even so, like I said, only GPA. Yeah, wrong.
Yes!
Wrong time.
Love that transition. I am so
Last
pleased with
transition
it.
of the LP, guys.
I am so
Also,
pleased
if
with.
you notice, there's a really bad issue with this ROM. Take a moment to guess what it is.
So far, not seeing an issue here.
Look really closely at the screen. Look closely.
I am.
It just. You need
You
to tell
give
the
up?
path. It's all dark.
Can you,
That's how
can you
it's
tell what
supposed to
it
be.
is?
No, because this looked how it looked like mouse play on the Super Nintendo.
How about that
Okay,
was?
but I don't know. Maybe this was just for me, but when I was playing this through the ROM, I could actually see the path.
I couldn't see the path actually.
Okay, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that it's one of those paths that needs to be lit up either with a lantern or with the ether medallion.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
I go by the Oracle Games intuition and just use the freaking Cane of Samaria to get through there.
Okay,
I'm
fair
actually
enough.
gonna look again because I'm looking at the video at a different source, and I can't even see the path at all. I'm like looking really close at the screen, so I don't know how you're seeing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You
sure
guys,
that requires.
Last dungeon of the game, not counting Ganon's Tower, because that doesn't have a maiden in it. And one with a very,
Still has a dungeon item.
very annoying gimmick. Oh boy. So those...
You got magic medicine,
what
which
the
you actually
gimmick
do.
is, and it's really kind of interesting, I won't lie. You create platforms of
Oh, you
good
fall.
job. Okay, but
You
then
create
see
death
these
with your
question
legs in the pit.
marks? See these question mark things? You can create
Yeah.
flaps on them using the Cane of Samaria. That being said, the major problem with this gimmick is that the Cane of Samaria uses up a lot more magic than it should. And you're gonna learn the hard way. If you don't memorize this dungeon good enough without having a lot of magic, you're gonna be seriously screwed. Especially for this next puzzle coming up.
Oh
And
yeah, I know.
also
Yeah.
especially if you're coming in here with just a normal magic meter, not the half one.
Let me guess, Ken. Let me guess, Ken. The torches? Yep, the torches. Ugh, I hate the torch room. I despise this room with a burning passion.
But
If it weren't for this stupid gimmick that this dungeon had, I think I'd respect it a little bit more. Because honestly, I think it has the best theme. I mean, you can't go wrong with cave dungeons, right? But it just why does the Cane of Samaria use magic? Period.
It's just-
shouldn't.
I mean, I don't hate this dungeon, it's just some of the gimmicks are frustrating to the point that you will get incredibly lost and incredibly inconvenienced frequently throughout the course of it. It just...
And while the boss of this dungeon is cool, and it also requires a lot of magic, otherwise you're actually stuck in that room.
if you don't have both the fire and ice rod, you're not beating him. So if you miss the ice rod, actually back in the light world, then you have to backtrack for it, and
Yeah,
that's the one part that's really cryptic your first time playing.
This is one dungeon you really need to come into with half magic on you before you tackle.
Yeah. Because if you don't, it's a real pain to deal with. I'd never done it, not even my first time, because just when I first played this place, I knew for a fact this would just be a mess. And what the heck is going on that end? You like slurping on your mic or what?
Someone is having soup.
No, it's actually getting a drink of my water.
I'll have to try on something.
I
Oh,
thought you'd started breathing soup.
by the way, if you just stay in that doorway, Ken, you wouldn't get hurt at all in these things, so that's another trick to try next time.
He wants to be spiffy and dodge.
I love doing it by this method.
Look at me, I can actually dodge instead of be lazy.
Happy Christmas. I mean, hard there. Good grief.
It hasn't made the skull yet. There you go. As soon as there's a skull, you're done.
Okay.
And that was only just for a fairy and magic. How do you feel?
Well,
The magic was worth it. It is just
Kind of.
done.
He has a magic medicine powder thing.
He's
I lost my
trying
train
to
of
save
thought.
it.
He has a
Trying
green
to save
potion.
it.
save it.
Honestly, though, since you
for
have the half magic,
especially
and
for
you
my
know,
least
you
favorite
know,
room in this dungeon, or
Well,
one of my least
especially
favorite
because-
rooms. Period.
because you know the layout of this dungeon, and plus you also have the half magic meter, you shouldn't need to use that because, well, if you know the layout perfectly fine, you have the half magic, then you're just gonna pretty much rely on the magic refill this dungeon gives
the
you.
only reason I'm doing fine now is because I've memorized it, because I've played this game multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was when I played this. I came in here with a blue potion still, but I didn't have to use it at all. But if this was my first playthrough, I probably would have had to use at least maybe one or two.
It took me a moment there to realize that the reason you went through backwards was because of the eye above the door.
Yeah. If you look straight at those eyes, they'll shoot you, and some of them actually lock doors, so you kind of have to, like, sidestep or walk backwards just to...
I always thought that was
have
a really interesting gimmick for the record.
when they
Hey
put, like,
there,
5
totally not
shots at
pokey.
you. And totally not chain chops up ahead. Totally not. They're barking spiders, apparently, according to Jepson. Why am I
But
referencing him?
if you want even but hey, if you want even crazier Mario references, go play Link's Awakening.
Pretty much.
That game literally has Goombas and piranha plants.
And the only time we see it work again.
I'm pretty sure in Four Swords there is one way that you can turn one of the player characters into a bower, into a chain chomp. Or you can just have a chain chomp as an item. Can't remember which. It might actually
I
be
think
both,
you can have
depending
one
on
as
the
a pet.
location.
It might be item, I think. Yeah, but it might be an
really
item now that I think about it, because I don't know how that would work as a playable character.
I know you can have a chain chomp as a pet in Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
I think it's stemming from that, yeah.
And screw this section.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this.
I have
right now.
frame skip.
I'm gonna say this right now. There was a race. If you use that, you'd be bigly penalized. Yes, Kramer. You would be penalized majorly.
You would be
Don't forget-
penalized
it's-
bigly.
Don't forget this. Look at how long this part is. You think I think it's reasonable that I'm doing that.
Yeah, I know. That's half an hour. I
You
don't
having
know-
fun with the space bar there, Ken?
Oh, that worked though. It's shorter.
Should have.
He's gonna do it again.
No, this is
no.
order.
No,
He's gonna
it's
do it again.
decent.
If it's not long enough, then I won't do it.
The next one's long, so guess what's gonna happen.
He's gonna cut it.
Was that worth the 20 rupees?
Yes, yes it was.
Yes.
Is that-
Hang on, wait for it, wait for it.
You go through a warp pipe faster than Mario.
I guess I gotta use my instant transmission. Nope, there you go.
You timed your wording of that very well.
You know what's funny though is that when I speed it up, it doesn't even look like I'm going through it at all. It just sort of looks like a cut. There.
Instant transmission.
No, exactly.
You just
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like you hear a quick skip of the music and then boom, you're there.
God, it's so ridiculous how to emulate
Like
how fast
I
the
know one
emulated
thing's for
Fast Forward
sure,
button is.
that's gonna be a running theme for me, because I know how well the save and quit's gonna work. Just cut it out after that, I'm just gonna look like you randomly teleported.
Ding a ding a ding.
I'm sorry, we're not going to be using that again though, or any transition. I'm sad, I know. But look, hey, we got part 15.
And there you go, the rock break didn't kick in, so
Yeah.
you're indeed correct.
This is the room I was talking about where it's annoying, because I have 5 eyes at once at you. It's pretty dang annoying to keep track of. Oh, by the
Anywho,
way,
it's time to get the last piece of part of the
keys.
game,
Cryptic
and
as all heck.
and I did not know where to find this until recently. I'm not kidding.
Floating on air. You might
Oh,
want to warp
jeez.
back.
This is the easiest piece of heart to miss. Why is it here?
I mean, you get this piece of heart just by simply going through the dungeon itself, then going back to Light World. And for some other reason, they changed the enemies in the GBA version back to the eye guys here.
Well, that's the thing, because you're in the light world when you're doing this, even if it is technically quote-unquote part of the dungeon.
Yeah, I know, but it's not that really confuses me. It's just the fact they changed them in general, because these guys actually are harder to take out than the eye guys. It's just they're a little more annoying to keep track of, but these guys are still harder.
God, these blocks.
Hold still, darn it.
There you go. Kind of.
Nah.
I
Oh,
totally.
shut
What
up.
the hell, game?
On the freaking corner. Wow.
Why didn't you use Bombos? I think Bombos works on those guys.
I think maybe it does.
I wouldn't be
Really?
surprised.
Oh, come on!
I want those arrows back.
You gotta use your boomerang, and even then, no.
Whack a Monty Ball.
But anywho, guys, we got all the pieces of heart in the game. What do you think?
19.
Yeah,
Because we've got the one heart container that's at the end of the
Oh,
server.
right, the last boss.
kind of missing one more heart container. Back to the dungeon.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got that.
And now dungeon item. Which is the mirror shield.
Why?
Which is
did
very
the games
underused in this
after
game.
Wind Waker? Why did the games after Minish Cap take it out? I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
I
no.
missed this item. Nintendo, freaking bring it back.
So useful and has so many different uses. Why?
The mirror shield is fantastic.
I freaking love the Mirror Shield. I have no idea why Nintendo decided to scrap it later on.
Honestly, when I first played Twilight Princess, got through it, and my final shield was the shield you get before the second dungeon, I was really disappointed. Because the mirror shield is very useful, and not saying in that game, I was very surprised.
And it's cool to look at. It's just awesome looking.
Going to the effort of getting it in games like Minish Cap is definitely worth it. Even if it is a post-game item, it is definitely worth getting.
It's because of how
Especially
useful the thing is in
Especially
general.
since you get like awesome looking laser beams back at enemies when they shoot rocks at you or something.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's that too.
Felt kinda
And then there's the
nice.
fact of how many different uses each game can do. Like, my favorite use is how Wind Waker had this whole entire room dedicated in the Earth Temple simply for the mirror shield. And it was just a really good gimmick. Mind you, it was annoying the first time, but it was really, really a good idea.
I want to
That
say
and all the light reflecting puzzles in
That's-
Ocarina of Time and
Why did you not push the block? You just wasted our time in that room.
the spiders just randomly crawling across the
I thought they
screen.
weren't pushable actually.
The block is not pushable until you kill all the enemies, so it kind of hinders back to Zelda 1 logic. Don't worry, you're not missing anything there. It's just like a item room, I think, like with either like potions, fairies, or just with more rupees.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
Ow.
Sorry, I took a spike in the butt. What?
Spike in the butt.
Oh god, this room!
This room takes forever, and
It's the
Keep
worst
going.
room in the game!
honestly, the
record,
first time I played this room, I thought it was going to be just like the room before, where you had to light the torches, but nope.
Room and the freaking game.
The biggest problem here is this is the part where you finally are forced to realize that you can control it as it goes around corners. And you need to find exactly where you need to go.
And it takes forever to memorize which one you can go on, which one you don't the first time you play. And also these fire bars, why are they here?
And also, it takes you a while to realize which path you actually need to go on just to get to the switch in the center. It's
They're
annoying.
unstoppable, why?
You know what's the funny thing? When I first played this, I got the switch my first try, and I'm like, you know, let me go explore the rest of the room just in case. There's no need
And then
to.
you,
I feel like
and then you never made it back.
That too, yes.
Well, there's this.
That's really the only useful thing I found from exploring everything.
What the hell were you thinking with this room?
Torture, that's what. It's just a mess the first time you play. It really is.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is that switch timed?
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
I seemed to recall it being timed, and I'm probably thinking of the torture room, but if that was timed...
Marley, I actually thought you'd need to use the cane to put something on there, so I kind of feel you.
Yeah, I was thinking that right now, too.
Thankfully, we
Is that
never
a Canis
can.
Mario thing, too? Because if you do that, how are you going to get back across?
Thankfully, after this dungeon, though, we never see this thing again.
True. Just run.
Again,
Just
it's
run.
such an
Just
awesome
run.
gimmick, but
That's why you
why can't it's Mario? Why must you use up so much magic for the amount of times we need to use it?
Ow. Thanks.
Okay, so to go over the chest here, 1 rupee, 5 rupee, 20 rupee, key. Guess which one you want to go for? The last one. The other one's only if your wallet's not that full.
It gives you some time to practice with the mirror shield, which is nice.
Yeah, because in order to get these chests, you actually need to hold the mirror shield in the way where you can actually just
I don't
walk
think the mirror shield really becomes an item you have. I don't think the mirror shield becomes an item you have to use until Link's Awakening.
Wait a minute,
That's
let me
what
just,
like-
let me get this straight here before, I know, I'm going off topic, but you actually killed that enemy without knocking yourself in the pit. Then you just walk right into the pit. Like, do you feel sorry for not doing that?
He was disoriented, I swear.
He's like, wait a minute, I didn't do this wrong. Let me try it again. Oh, by the way, that pathway's completely useless. It doesn't even take you anywhere useful in the light world.
I know, I'm just showing it off.
It's like, hey, look, exit. Okay, back in the dungeon.
She's like, whoa! No, thank you.
Hang on, whiplash.
I think if you turn back to the light world, that area either leads to a path with rupees, or it literally leaves you floating above
No,
the
but
ground.
actually what it does, I think it leads you back to one of the paths you can just take to get back up to the entrance of Turtle Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But anywho.
completely useless.
We're coming up to one of the most unique bosses in the game. What does everybody think?
I like this boss.
It's too
I find it
short.
frustrating.
It's too
Incredibly
short.
frustrating.
I love the idea of the boss. It was one of my favorites in the game, but because of how short it is, it was very short-lived, and I didn't like that about it.
The biggest problem I have with this upcoming boss is simply the amount of damage it puts out, so it can hurt immensely.
Your first time playing, you would probably use up a couple different potions / fairies, depending.
Oh yeah!
Well,
Yeah,
while you do need to use the rods, at the same time you can just go up close and use them.
Well, I just feel like that, you know, having the fire and ice rod needed was a good idea, but at the same time, not telling the gamer about it until this point in the game was a bad thing.
So the
Because your
ice
first time
rod...
playing, how are you supposed to know that there's an ice rod you need for this portion?
No,
you get
it-
whenever.
The fact that you have to use the rods, and if you're out of magic, then you're screwed. I don't think it's so much the fault of the boss itself. I think it's just the fault of the ice rod just being a stupid weapon to begin with.
Well, both fire and ice rod take up a lot
Because
of
it's
mana.
so slow.
Oh, whoa.
If you don't have the half magic meter for this, you're probably gonna want to use a magic potion.
It would be pretty nifty though if you could use the ether
Where's
and
the
Bomber's
button?
medallions in combination to take it out.
That would be interesting because I know bombos act like fire to enemies, and then the ether can act like ice. So that would have been a cool
Though
idea.
then again, Bombos has absolutely no effect on Mothman, whichever its name.
Yeah, but then at the same time, remember Cold Stare? You go ahead, use the Bombos medallion, and it melts the ice instantaneously.
Too many of these bosses in this game have this phase where they're always wandering around the room.
Yeah, I know there's a good amount of bosses did this kind of thing.
It seems so redundant. Imagine doing this with the green tunic. 6 hearts of damage. Ah!
And with just Master Sword itself, level 2. Takes a while. And then that's when the fight is fun. Otherwise,
Yeah,
Max
it's not too
Hearts!
far.
One of the many reasons why you need to take on level 5 first before going to the last ones.
Honestly, still need to do that, just like not get the mail and fight this guy, but only in the level 2 store, because I want to have a good challenge.
I don't want to.
I
And
do,
then
because this guy's too
reach
short.
the only maiden with personality, Zelda.
Reason why?
Last
Her
time I
name
heard
is
the
in
name.
the title. Her name is in the title. There's a reason.
Unfortunately, though, that's the last time I see her. She doesn't play much role or anything else, so...
She doesn't play
We
up.
see her in the credits and her voice shines through when we head to the next dungeon, but that's about it.
Credits don't count.
When the voice shines through.
When they're breaking the barrier on Ganon's tower.
It's supposed to be Zelda talking to you.
No, not just one of the other maidens going, "Hey girls, let's go do some magic stuff," or whatever.
Anywho,
What?
That's a way to end it.
What?
wow, okay. Anywho, next part. Final dungeon in the game.
Yeah.